I've created history. This is awesome. I got traded. I get to coach with Sabrina. I'm on Caitlin Clark's in Indianapolis. I mean, what a great show. So we'll go out there and have some fun.
You're not ready for this one. Sabrina Ionescu just watched Caitlin Clark pull off the wildest all-star move imaginable. And her reaction? A mix of disbelief, amazement, and meme gold. We're talking full jaw drop, double blink. Did that really happen? Vibes. Did Clark just flip the WNBA All-Star rulebook mid-game? And did Sabrina just realize she's now a side character in the Caitlin cinematic universe? Buckle up. This video is peak chaos, comedy, and courtside madness you didn't even know you were missing.
I'm going to start with you here, Caitlin. You said you might be aggressive on the trade market once this opened up. Is there any player that you're looking to get to? And remember, it has to be apples to apples trade here. Starter for starter, reserve for reserve. The good news is you can't go wrong with this type of talent. Anyone looking to make a deal here?
To be completely honest, I love my team. I think they're great. I don't have any intentions of really trading any of them. I don't know if this is in the rules. I don't really care. But I think we've already discussed we are going to trade coaches. Bee's going to take her coach, Sandy Brondello. Let's get it.
Sabrina Ionescu didn't just react. She glitched courtside like her brain downloaded a patch it never approved. 1 second she's laser focused. The next, she's squinting at Caitlin Clark like she just saw a unicorn drain a logo 3, toss an alley-oop to herself off the Jumbotron and wink at the camera like it's just another casual Tuesday. The WNBA All-Star game wasn't prepared. Sabrina definitely wasn't. And based on her expression, she's probably still buffering. Because Caitlin Clark didn't just show up, she flipped the whole script. She pulled off a move so insane it made the All-Star game feel like a budget sitcom, where she was the only one with lines. The defenders? Just background extras. The crowd? Total hysteria.
Are you guys going to make any deals or bets on the game between teammates, or what's that going to be like to be foes for a day?
It'll be weird. Maybe we'll just allow each other to trade off baskets and shoot. But no, I mean, the All-Star game's always fun. It's not that competitive, and it's just kind of you get to go out there, enjoy, have fun.
But Sabrina, her reaction alone deserved an Emmy. Hands on her head, eyes wide, mentally running calculations. Like, how do you even defend that without breaking the laws of physics? And right then, it was clear. This wasn't a rookie finding her groove. This was a full-blown takeover in sneakers. Sabrina might be an all-star veteran, but in that moment, she looked like a spectator in Caitlin Clark's personal highlight reel. And she knew it. That smile turned, smirk turned, total speechlessness was peak comedy. This is fine meme energy. Except the whole room's actually on fire.
Sorry, WNBA, if that's not in the rule. Sorry, ESPN, if that's not in the rules, but we just made it a rule. So, Sandy Brondello, come on over.
Whoa!
Let's get to it. You can coach Sabrina. So therefore, maybe Stewie wants to come on over to my team.
Whoa!
Let me know. B, you want to give me Stewie?
We have breaking news here. I don't know that I've heard of a coach being traded in the All-Star game. This is something you're agreeing to, Fee. There's no terms to this deal.
But let's be honest. It wasn't just the move. It was the symbolism, the sequence, the stare down, that unapologetic flair. It wasn't just for the fans. It was a statement. And if anyone still had doubts, they evaporated the second the coaching trade drama dropped like a bomb mid-media day. Yeah, that. Let's talk about how Caitlin Clark basically took over the All-Star coaching setup like she was running NBA 2K in my GM mode. Lisa Bluter's probably somewhere laughing in total disbelief. While most rookies would politely accept whatever coach they're assigned, like it's jury duty, Caitlin just vetoed the WNBA's plan with a casual, thanks, but no thanks. She brought in Sandy Brondello like it was a family cookout, and she'd already popped the champagne. The twist? It was Stephanie White's job. But Stephanie still coaches like she uses a flip phone and thinks spacing is a font style. Clark's game? A controlled storm of chaos, creativity, and surgical precision. She needed someone who gets that. Someone who wins. Someone unfazed by a rookie calling her own plays. And in comes Sandy. Championship ring, actual tactics, and not an ounce of ego about letting a generational talent take the wheel.
All right, so after the teams were chosen, a surprise moment happened. Now, of course, I'm still feeling it because I was two off, man. Two off from picking the entire 2 teams, but it's all good, man. I'm not tripping. Now, at the end, a trade proposal was capable of happening, right? Now, when I was looking at the rules at the beginning, I was like, dang, they could trade? So that portion of the whole draft happened. And I'm like, dang, who are they going to trade? I wouldn't trade anybody. Of course, Caitlin came up saying, I'm fine. I wouldn't trade anybody. But we can trade these coaches.
Caitlin Clark didn't just flex on the court. She flexed off it too. And the league had to act like they were totally cool with it. Like, yeah, sure, the rookie gets to pick her coach. No big deal. But let's be real. That was a power move. And the WNBA blinked. Because the message she sent by essentially booting Cheryl Reeve off the sideline, that wasn't just tossing a wrench into the system. That was tearing it apart on live TV. Reeve built a whole coaching legacy, and Clark basically strolled in like, cute story, but I'm rolling with Sandy. And the wildest part? She was right. It was a perfect fit. A match made in hoops heaven, or at least in Barclays Center. The result? Pure comedy and pure brilliance. Caitlin Clark turned the All-Star game into her own personal highlight reel. The crowd lost it. The cameras couldn't look away. And poor Sabrina Ionescu looked like she needed a reboot. There are levels to this. And Clark just skipped the tutorial and lapped the league. All with a smile.
At the end of the draft, Caitlin and Fee had the option to trade any players, but instead of players, Caitlin said that she wanted to trade coaches. Originally, Cheryl Reeve was supposed to be coaching Team Clark, and Sandy Brondello was going to be coaching Nafisa's team. But Caitlin said, nah, let's switch. Fee, you could have your coach.
And let's not forget how completely iconic it is that Caitlin dared the WNBA to stop her. She didn't just push the status quo, she steamrolled it, rebranded it, and probably dropped merch on the way out. The league's official response was basically a shrug and a, well, guess the kids are in charge now. But honestly, who can blame them? Caitlin Clark might go down as the greatest WNBA trade never made. Except, she wasn't traded. She was drafted. That's how wild this is. Her impact is so massive it feels like someone flipped a whole franchise for her. Like she parachuted into the league and immediately started rearranging the entire setup. There's something hilariously on-brand about a rookie walking into the All-Star game and becoming both the highlight reel and the plotline. Every assist becomes a headline, every smirk, a moment of pop culture. And credit to Sandy Brondello. She's just riding the wave. Cool, composed, and completely in sync with the most polarizing rookie the WNBA's ever seen. She doesn't try to rein Clark in, she boosts her. And in return, Clark gives her the most electric All-Star performance in years and a front-row seat to the Caitlin Clark show.
WNBA All-Star rosters are officially set, and this live was crazier than you could have even imagined, because what do you mean halfway through they just decided to switch coaches? Not trade teams, trade coaches. So they went back and forth. Caitlin Clark got the first pick, Collier got the second pick. She picked Aaliyah Boston, then she picked Stewie, then she picked Sabrina, then she picked Alicia Gray.
Meanwhile, Stephanie White is probably staring at a chalkboard somewhere, still trying to figure out what hit her. The answer? A phenomenon walked in and didn't wait for permission. She didn't ask, she took action. And the league caught on fast. Either get on board or get left behind. That's why Sabrina's reaction mattered. Because it wasn't just hilarious, it was honest. Whether it's a ridiculous step-back three or casually flipping the coaching script, Clark operates on another level. So if anyone's still confused about who's really running the league now, Sabrina answered with her wide eyes, dropped jaw, and what might as well be a revoked All-Star vote. And just when you thought things couldn't get any more surreal, enter Stephanie White, rolling in with her perfectly packed baggage and emotional carry-ons. The moment she touched down, it felt like Avengers, Solar Flare edition, but with less Marvel and more mild. She brought the whole Connecticut crew, DB included, and suddenly the Indiana Fever looked less like a new chapter and more like a strange relocation project.
The WNBA All-Star draft was fun between Caitlin Clark and Nafisa Collier, the team captains picking the players, picking the rosters. But the most interesting aspect was the coach swap, because Clark traded Cheryl Reeve, who was the coach of her team, or was to be the coach of her team, to Collier for Sandy Brondello, the coach of the New York Liberty. Of course, Reeve is Collier's head coach for the Minnesota Lynx, so that makes sense. But the drama is going to come from Reeve having previously been critical on social media.
Because let's be real, Stephanie White didn't come to Indiana to build around Caitlin Clark. She came to rebuild her comfort zone, wrapping herself in a sun blanket like the Fever didn't just land the most important player in WNBA history. No big deal, just stash the generational talent in the corner like a glorified decoy while her Connecticut reunion tour takes center stage. Brilliant. And all the while, she's selling it like it's part of some master plan. Come on. This is like being handed a brand new Ferrari and choosing to cruise at 20 miles per hour in a school zone while bragging about fuel efficiency. Sure, it's allowed, but it's borderline criminal. You can see it play out on the court. Clark's being coached like she's a 3-and-D role player from 2004. Just stand in the corner, kid. Maybe someone will find you. And for what? Because Stephanie White refuses to give up control. She didn't relocate to Indiana to hand Clark the keys. She came to rerun her old playbook, complete with predictable post touches and habits that were mid-tier at best.
Queen, that's Caitlin's nickname for those of us in the know. She's like, look, I'm going to do you a solid. We all know my coach absolutely hates you. It's going to be a terrible, terrible experience for you. You have so much on your shoulders as it is, all the hate that you get, all the pressure to grow the league. And I don't want you to have to deal with all that for your All-Star weekend as well. So, of course, being her star player, I've got her wrapped around my finger. I can deal with all that. She's not going to give me any of that crap. So why don't we just straight up trade coaches?
And somehow she expects Clark to mold herself to her system, like the generational talent needs to fall in line. That's not coaching. That's sabotage and sneakers with a clipboard. And if you think that's too harsh, just sit through one of her pressers. Stephanie White talks about Caitlin Clark like she's describing an uninvited houseguest. No spark, no excitement, just thinly veiled irritation dressed up as coach speak. She praises her the way someone grudgingly writes a thank you note to someone they can't stand. It's obvious. The jealousy practically drips from the mic. She's not just annoyed, she's envious. And everyone in the league sees it. Because Stephanie White didn't just get Caitlin Clark, she got the spotlight that comes with her. And now she has to endure every press conference where Clark is the first question, the last question, and everything in between. Meanwhile, her precious system, slow, outdated, and allergic to tempo, is getting dragged under the biggest spotlight it's ever faced. Of course she's tense. This was supposed to be her comeback story. Instead, she's just the B-plot in someone else's blockbuster.
I don't know if this is allowed, but this is what we're going to do. We decided, meaning the two of them decided, amongst the two of them, that they were also going to trade coaches.
And here's where it gets even funnier. Clark knows. You can see it in her eyes every time someone asks about adjusting to the system. She gives that polite, tight-lipped smile, says all the right things, but you know she's screaming inside. Because this isn't what she signed up for. This isn't the offensive freedom she had in college. This isn't pace and space. This is dribble, pass, wait, reset, and maybe get the ball back with 5 seconds left on the shot clock. Brutal. And poor DB is stuck in the middle. Brought in like a trusted general from the old Sun regime, now just standing around watching Caitlin Clark drag double teams 30 feet from the basket while the play is drawn up for a contested elbow jumper. It's like casting Taylor Swift as a backup singer because the band already has a sound. Meanwhile, the rest of the league is watching this circus like it's must-see TV. Some are cracking up, others are flat-out frustrated. It's outdated, it's clunky, and nobody under 40 knows how to run it. But instead of evolving with the game, Stephanie's doubling down, like a blackjack player chasing losses. And the result? It's not just ineffective, it's embarrassing. Especially when the highlight reels show Caitlin Clark draining logo threes, threading insane passes, and clowning defenders, all outside the game plan.
Despite dominating fan votes and receiving a record-setting number of fan votes, Caitlin Clark was only voted 9th in guards across the league by WNBA players for the WNBA All-Star game. Now, she is going to be a captain in this year's All-Star game, which is amazing as just a second-year player, but let that sink in for a second. She was voted first in fan votes, the most fan votes of all time for a player, and only voted as the 9th best guard in the league amongst players. That's insane.
You'd think a smart coach would pivot, adapt, evolve, but not Stephanie White. She's still gripping her clipboard like it's a safety blanket, hoping no one notices that Caitlin's potential is being drained in the name of structure. And when people call it out, she starts tossing around buzzwords like process and chemistry like she's leading an HR seminar on settling for less. No wonder fans are losing it. They didn't show up to see Caitlin Clark setting screens and spotting up like some forgotten bench piece. They came to see her bend the game. They came for fireworks, and instead, every night feels like a fire drill. The wildest part? White genuinely thinks this is fine, that the offense is developing, that it's all coming together. It's not. This is a coach stuck in the past and a player already operating 10 years ahead of her time. A system built to slow the game down, paired with a player who moves at warp speed. The mismatch is so obvious, you could spot it from orbit. And yet, White keeps pretending like everything's fine. But it's not even close. And as the season wears on, one thing's becoming clear. Maybe the problem isn't Caitlin needing to adjust.